Krishna, Mata.
My obeisances to everyone. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha, kripa sindhu patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, everyone. Great to be with all of you. Our prayers to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitanamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Picharni Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskacha Deshe Tarne. Jai. So, how is everyone?
Good. Good.
We've got some interesting questions today, and why don't we just dive right in, unless anyone has anything that you wanted to share before we dive into the questions? Well, let's. Parampara has several, so why don't we take one of his, and then we'll move on, then we'll come back to Parampara. So Parampara, what was your first question? It was about Ekadashi?
Yes, Gurudev. Let me check that full question. I will read that again, Gurudev. What is the overall importance of Ekadashi Vrata? Also, each Ekadashi has its own name and has its own significance. Do we need to hear glories of each Ekadashi Katha on Ekadashi day? Your servant.
Okay. Oh, my headset, I think I left in the other room.
Nice question.
Okay. What is the significance of Ekadashi? Everyone knows what Ekadashi is except for maybe Francia.
Right.
Francia, you're in the dark on this one.
I'm in the dark.
Okay, got it. So Ekadashi is a day that happens every fortnight. And fortnight means the twice a month, and Ekadashi is on the 11th day of the new moon and the 11th day of the full moon. So let's say it's a no moon, new moon. 11 days after that, where actually the moon is starting to get, it's about 3/4 full. It goes from nothing, it's about 3/4 full. It's Ekadashi, marks that date. And then from the full moon, 11 days to where it's getting kind of, it looks like a smile up in the sky. It's a kind of a small moon. That's the other Ekadashi. And Prabhupada never told us a tremendous amount about Ekadashi. I'm sure people who are scholars of the Puranas and so on, there's more about it. But essentially, astrologically, it's a very auspicious day. And we take advantage of that by slowing our pace down and doing maybe a little extra chanting, chant an extra round or two, or do some extra reading. Of course, if someone has a very full schedule, that's another thing. But diet-wise, some people observe Ekadashi by fasting all day. Some don't even drink water. They do what's called nirjal, without even, nir means without, jal means water, without even taking water. And but we don't eat beans or grains on Ekadashi in our line. What Prabhupada taught us. Prabhupada adjusted everything for us. So we don't eat anything with beans or grains. And when I was a new devotee, it was pretty restricted. It was a little bit more of an austere diet. We would eat peanuts and raisins for breakfast, and maybe some potatoes for dinner. And but devotees started like figuring out all these like the little loopholes, which were, true. There's like quinoa. How many people have had quinoa?
Yeah.
I mean, it sure seems like a grain to me,
Mhm.
but technically it isn't. And it's kind of like probably the only one who's going to know this one is Francia. Francia, do you remember farfel? I had that when I was a
Yes.
kid. Something called
Yep.
farfel.
Yeah. Ugh.
Well, but my parents would, about once every couple of weeks, there would be farfel on the table as one of the side dishes. I liked it, but anyway, it's almost like a grain, and also we don't eat rice, correct? Because that's a grain. But who knows the loophole for that? There's a loophole for rice.
Is
It's a
that
really good loophole.
samo rice, Gurudev?
What kind?
Samo rice.
It may be the same thing. It's we call it wild rice.
Oh,
It's
not the
absolutely
wild rice. Samo is different. Yes, Gurudev.
okay. So, um, the rice that I was speaking of, wild rice, it's just like rice, and it's super healthy, and it's expensive. You can buy it in any health food store. It takes a little longer to cook. It's but pretty much the same as cooking brown rice versus white rice, but it's really good stuff. And anyway, devotees, even breads. Devotees figured out how to take like almond flour and
Mm.
other types of things that it's not really a flour, and they make bread out of it. Make bread, they make pizza, they do all kinds of stuff. So devotees have very cleverly figured out ways, so that it's just there's nothing austere about it at all. In fact, we often look forward to Ekadashi because we get all these cool different things that we don't normally get. Ekadashi is important. Now, newer people, like say Francie, I'm not going to harp on her to observe Ekadashi. It's kind of it's a voluntary thing, but it's very helpful in our spiritual lives.
Mhm.
Now, every Ekadashi has some interesting. They all have each Ekadashi has a name, and there's all kinds of stories from the Puran, from the ancient Vedas about what that Ekadashi is. When Prabhupada was around, we never heard any of this stuff, and Prabhupada never brought it up. He never talked about it. It was just the 11th day of the cycle. We observe Ekadashi. There's nothing wrong with reading the stories. There's nothing at all wrong with reading the stories, but I don't know any of them, and quite frankly, I don't read them. But I've always observed Ekadashi. Ekadashi is very, very important. When Lord Chaitanya took sannyas and left his mother, he said, "Mother, I have one request." What is that request, Malati?
I don't know, but I'm thinking, do Ekadashi?
Yeah, observe Ekadashi.
Uh, uh,
Yeah, we were now. One of the things that came later after Prabhupada was there was information about when you break Ekadashi. So one day we're not going to eat beans or grains. The next day, well, when can we have it? When can we start? I used to think like anytime after midnight, I guess it's the next day, right? But because it's dealing with the lunar thing, anyway, devotees, very like these super smart devotees, figured out that actually there's a time to break time to break it, which often it's in the morning, and it's usually not that long after sunrise. there's a time to, there's a window actually. It's a window, and you have to break it within that window. And usually it's roughly going to be about, say, 2.5 hours. So there's a window when you break it, which reminds us of the story of Ambarish and Durvas Muni. Because Durvas Muni, he was a great sage. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but he was a great sage, and he invited someone to break the fast with him. And the person was some yogi, and the yogi, him and his disciples, they went, they took bath, and Ambarish was waiting for them to come back from their bath, and they weren't making it back in time. So he wanted to break his fast, but but it was also kind of offensive to eat when you have guests, eat before your guests. So the Brahmin said to him, well, you can eat, you can actually, if you just drink some water, I guess he was doing nirjal, you can just drink some water, that breaks the fast. But you still haven't really eaten. But it technically breaks the fast. Anyway, that turned into be a mess, but that's a whole nother, we'll tell that story sometime. That's an interesting story. But Ekadashi is important. We definitely observe Ekadashi. If I'm traveling, I always will look ahead and see, okay, I'm going to be in such and such country. I want to know what day is Ekadashi going to be there, because sometimes it can change. One part of the world, because the moon is changing very, very rapidly. So sometimes it occurs on a different day on one part of the planet than it does on another day.
Oh.
But Ekadashi, Prabhupada was very strict about observing Ekadashi. So, and I buy on Ekadashi, I have these, I'll show you. They're tortillas. And they're tortillas, but they're made from almond flour. Let me show you.
Gurudev got it all figured out. Ekadashi.
Oh, wow.
It says,
Interesting.
and you can buy these at Costco, grain-free tortillas. They're delicious. And
Okay, try that.
all you have to do is you heat up the skillet, just heat up a pan and get it to about 300 degrees roughly. And I spray a little tiny bit of oil, and I put them on, and like not even 30 seconds per side, and it's ready to go. But you can get these at Costco or any health food store.
Mm.
Yes, then I can get it for Richard to keep him on Ekadashi.
Oh yeah. And then what I'll do is, one of the things I like to do is I'll take I'll once I make the tortilla and it's cooked and it's nice and soft, I'll cut some banana, I'll put some banana in it and roll it up, and I'll put it in the microwave for just a few seconds. And the banana gets real warm and soft. They're delicious. So I'll eat several of those for breakfast. And then I'll usually have like I'll keep a lot of fruit around. Oh, and peanuts. I'll have fruit and peanuts throughout the day. And then for dinner, I'll usually make baked potatoes, really good baked potatoes. And but I put all kinds of stuff in them. I bake it at 450 degrees. And then so the outside gets crispy. And I'll cut it down, and I'll take all the potato out of it. So you have just the skins, potato skins. And then I'll put that in a bowl, and I'll put all kinds of cool stuff in it. And then I'll put it back in the skins again. And anyway, they're delicious. So
Yeah, you gave that to me once when I was there for Ekadashi.
Oh, we
Yes.
did you like it?
Yes, and you did. You put some ginger and everything in there.
Yeah, I put
And
all
then,
kinds of stuff in. Yeah.
yes, yeah, I ate. Remember? Yes, I had that.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
that's usually
Very
what I have for dinner. And yeah, so Ekadashi is important. And there's nothing wrong with reading the little stories, but I usually don't read them. But if I don't really enjoy reading that much. I mean, I like it, reading Prabhupada's books and so on, but at least, anyway, I have a busy schedule, so I don't usually read them. Does that answer your question about Ekadashi? It's very important, though.
Yes, Gurudev.
Now,
Thank you,
that's something
Gurudev.
maybe I'll talk to Francia about that privately. But it's not, for a new Krishna knows what stage we're at. And, when we're ready, we're ready. When we're not, that's fine. You don't want to, like a new person just first comes to the temple and you don't observe Ekadashi, you're going to hell. No. It's now an interesting question. It's also, why don't we eat grains? Why don't we eat grains? And I would really have to look up to get this story accurately. Maybe Malati knows, or maybe any of you or Nepali devotees may know, or
I read
Rasika
in,
Bajari may know, but the story about where sin personified. I can't remember if King Prickett was involved in that, but
yes.
sin personified. Ekadashi is so auspicious. Where could he go?
Yes.
Where can he go? Where can he needs somewhere to hide because it's such an auspicious day. And was it King Prickett?
Yes, Parikshit Maharaj, when Kali came and cut the limbs of the bull, and
Okay.
at that time, and then he told the dark figure, he said, so, he took obeisances of Parikshit Maharaj and said how sorry he is. So, when somebody does that, Parikshit Maharaj is very compassionate and kind.
Oh,
So he
yeah.
said, okay, give me a place where I can stay. He said, you cannot stay in my kingdom because this is what you're doing. He said, okay, give me a place. So give him the place in the grains, and then also in gold.
In gold too? Okay.
Gold,
I
yes.
never heard that. That's
In gold,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. So hiding, anyway, so if the food has, Mr. Sin is hiding inside of grain, so we don't eat grains on Ekadashi. And that's all I know. I like Ekadashi. Sometimes a little bit of a pain, a little of a pain if I'm traveling or something, because I can't, at home, I'm all prepared for Ekadashis. Always make sure I've got bananas, and which I usually have anyway, but I make double sure. And when's Ekadashi coming up, got to have some bananas right at the right ripeness. Okay, so that was that question. And let's go to
Thank you,
Francia.
Gurudev.
Francia had.
Thank you, Gurudev.
Francia.
Prabhuji is in the first canto. In the first canto, you can find that.
It's in the first canto. Oh, okay.
First canto, yeah, where the canto which is, the chapter where
Punishment and reward of Kali.
Yeah, it's in that chapter. So if you can look up, you'll find it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. My question. This is from Francia. My question is about the 4 principles of material advancement. This is what's talking about Janmaishvarya Shruti Shubir. People who are born, this is really all related to Queen Kunti. Queen Kunti is the one who talks so much about this, or the very famous verse. Janmaishvarya Shruti Shubir Edamana Manakpuman Naivar Yabihatung Bai Tvamakinchana Gochava. So she is giving the warning that people who are born Janma, that means taking a high birth. You're born in like a wealthy family, or famous family, a pious family. Janma Aishvarya means that you have a lot of wealth, you're comfortable. also have different opulences. Shruti, people that are very, very well educated, and Shribi are people that are beautiful. They, she warns that these things can make you crazy. And Francia, I'll read the whole question. I take issue with the fact that there are a hindrance to spiritual advancement when I apply them to you. So she's talking about me. Okay, someone's just texting me. Let me just text them back. It's my next door neighbor. Giving a class right now, period. We'll drop by shortly after 10 a.m. My next door neighbor. Okay, so she's talking about me. So yes, high parentage. My father was a surgeon, and we were a very well respected family. Number two, good wealth. Yeah, we weren't wealthy. We were, I would say, upper middle class. My family. We weren't. We had. We lived in a nice home. We had. My mother had 3 children, so she had a maid that would come and help take care of the house and so on. Even though my mother worked really, really hard, but she also had a helper. And high education. Yeah, I went to college and did postgraduate stuff and was ready to go into med school. Why can't a person accept these gifts and be thankful to Krishna for them? Knowing you have been given much, I think makes a person grateful and want to be of service to others less fortunate, as you are doing. Am I wrong in challenging Prabhupada? So, no, you are correct, Francia, that there's these things, you have to read everything Prabhupada said. These qualities are a warning, just be careful. Like, for example, we'll see, let's say someone becomes a rock star. They can make you pretty, everybody's bowing down at your feet, right? I mean, it used to be back in pious ages, a great sage, you fall down at their feet. They're the worshipable person. The great sadhus, of those that are rich in spiritual knowledge. But now it's like, a baseball player, some jock, people like, and it can make you a little crazy. And so people that are wealthy, they can get very snobbish. And people that are beautiful, they everybody's looking at them, and you feel like a goddess or a god, and it can make you very headstrong. So the warning is there. Now, yes, if some like one of my godbrothers, Ambarish, he's Henry Ford's grandson, very wealthy, extremely wealthy. He gives so much. He's given probably more than any one person. He's given to assist Prabhupada in his mission. And he's very humble and so on. So for many people, I've seen people, for example, they're very advanced devotees. They start taking on disciples, and the worship from the disciples, causes them to get headstrong, and then they end up falling down. We've seen that many times.
Mm.
So it's basically a warning.
Yeah.
It's more of a warning. I know a real nice devotee. He was a plumber, and he was always doing free stuff for the temple and coming by and helping work at the temple. Then he got an inheritance. Somebody died, left him this huge inheritance. Then he ended up on drugs, and he bought this big fancy car, and he died in a car accident. And, he wasn't toxic. He was intoxicated and driving the car, and better he didn't get that. So it depends on the individual, but the warning is there. And I can tell you, quite frankly, in my own experience, being a very young man when I was temple president, I was only 20, maybe 26 or something, and only been a devotee for like 3 years. From a long beard and hair, and 3 years later, I'm the president of a major temple. People are bowing down. It's like, it definitely, no question about it. It went to my head. And, thankfully there was people that would talk to me, and, my God brothers, and, hey, Nara, what are you doing? So, I mean, anyone, any human, anyone in any conditioned soul could be influenced by these things. So the warning is there. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you are correct. I take it as a blessing that it helped me become Krishna conscious. I had a great family. My mother encouraged me to think on my own, and I was educated so I could read Prabhupada's books and so on.
Mm.
So you had it right. Your thinking was clear, and I just want to say that, yeah, you just misunderstood that if you have these things, it's bad. No, if you have them, use them in Krishna service. We don't want to renounce them. If we're in a wealthy family, we don't want to renounce. We want to use it in Krishna service. Like Ambarish. Now, of course, there's exceptions. There was one of the wealthiest in all of our books. In all of our books, who was the wealthiest of all? I wish I had a bigger crowd, but Malati, I guess I'm going to challenge Malati on this. Because you've read all of Prabhupada's books. Who was the wealthiest devotee of all in all times that we've read about? Now, there may be someone that I'm not thinking of, but I'm thinking of one in particular who was equivalent to a multi-billionaire.
Mm.
Do 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 ding ding ding.
Is that Dhruv Maharaj, Gurudev?
Bali Maharaj. Bali? Because he gave everything
Well, I
up.
guess
Dhruv
you. I guess
Maharaj
you.
also, Dhruv Maharaj. Now Gurudev has
Dhruv-
to decide.
Okay. No,
Because he
I
had
guess
his own planet.
those are, you're going to get credit for those answers. I was thinking specific. Okay, let me limit it. In Lord Chaitanya's Leela.
Oh, Lord Chaitanya's Leela is...
Sikhi
this
Mahi-
Pundarik. Pundarik
Pundrik,
Vidya-nidhi.
I believe, and this is my thinking.
King of Jagannath
The
Puri, Gurudev.
the one that comes to my mind is Raghunath Das.
Oh, yes.
Raghunath Das was an extremely wealthy family, like a multi-billionaire.
Yes.
And they married him at a very young age to this woman that was absolutely drop dead gorgeous, and as beautiful inside as well. But he was so renounced that he didn't want anything to do with the money. He didn't want anything to do with the family. He just wanted to go hang out in a cave with Haridas Thakur and chant. And he was just so renounced. And Lord Chaitanya, at first, his parents were sending him money after he left home, and they were sending him money. He was using to put on festivals. And then finally, he didn't want to take the money from his family. He wanted nothing. And Lord Chaitanya appreciated that very much. So it could go either way. If you have a lot of money, you can use it in Krishna service. But if you're like a total renunciate and you find it may be contaminating for you, then that's fine too. Either way is okay. All right, did I answer your question?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, now.
Gurudev, follow-up question, Gurudev.
Okay.
So in the same context, Gurudev, like when we take the material possessions as a blessings and we want to utilize for Krishna externally, but internally Krishna can take those blessings from us anyways. And how will a devotee see that situation? Because if the person is very attached to the material possessions, when Krishna takes them away, how will a person balance their consciousness? Because the gift of material blessing was taken as a gift, and Krishna chose to take it back. So how will one situate themselves at the
I like
same?
the
Yeah.
question. I like that question.
Yeah.
So I would answer that by saying that Krishna has infinite wisdom, and Krishna knows who should keep that opulence and who it's not going to be healthy for whatever reason. It may be someone who's even very humble, but Krishna still decides, no, I got to take it away. A devotee, there's a famous verse, Tattenu kampan susamikshimano, that one verse, and the other, Yasyahamanugurami harasye tadanam shanai. Krishna says that when I really am inclined towards a devotee, I start taking things away to break their material attachments. Now, he may not take it away because it's the material attachment isn't going to affect him. But Krishna can take it away for reasons that we'll never understand. We have to have faith in Krishna. When we surrender our life to Krishna, if Krishna gives it, let's say, for example, God forbid, I get a diagnosis from my doctor. I have cancer. I have, what's the cancer that always gets you? Thyroid? Is it thyroid cancer?
Sarcoma.
Cystic fibrosis.
Anyway, let's say I got some kind of that's going to be terminal.
Pancreas.
That's it. Thank you. Pancreatic cancer. Where'd you go? I heard the voice. I don't see you.
I'm here, Gurudev.
Okay. Well, leave your
It is
thing on. I like
manifested
to
from
hear.
Brahman.
I like to see that. Yeah, pancreatic cancer. Yeah, I'm only thinking that because the lady where I live, she had pancreatic cancer. She was gone in, I think, less than a year when she got the diagnosis. And I have other friends that have died from pancreatic cancer. If I got that, I would just take it as, hey, Krishna, I was hoping I could stick around longer, mainly for my disciples and students to continue teaching them and training them. But Krishna has infinite wisdom, whatever it is. So that's the devotee's mood. Whatever Krishna takes away. He took my wife away. She was a nice lady, but she got, kind of nutty and real paranoid. And anyway, bottom line, I did everything I could to help her. But basically, Krishna took her away. And okay, I wish I could have done for her, but anyway, we have to take everything as Krishna's blessing. And not just theoretically, but actually in our hearts, we realize it. We generally have faith. We don't just say, oh, Krishna's mercy, but it's something we're realizing it and embracing it. Because every time Krishna took something away in my life, my spiritual life got better. It became like brighter, sweeter, more seasoned. It detached me more from this world. Every single thing Krishna's done, that he's taken all kinds of things away from me. Okay, did I answer that? Malti?
Yes, Gurudev.
Gurudev, I was also thinking that, Krishna also tests us to see, when he gives us or whatever we have, he sees how we're using it in his service. And I noticed that for me, I know when Richard and I lived in Malaysia, he made a lot of money. He was paid in USD, so he made a lot of money for that country. And then whenever we come to the US, we are really poor. I don't know what happens, every time. And then finally, I can actually say that he took everything away from us because he had Parkinson's and he was in university doing his PhD in Moscow, in Idaho. The Parkinson's started setting in, and then he couldn't. So the people got him out after 1 year. They didn't want him after that. And then we went to the temple, in Boise, and we lived there for 2 years. And I had no money at all, nothing, totally. Mr. Bill, I took care of his wife as a volunteer in hospice, and he gave me $5,000, and he says, use this, and if you need anything else, you ask me. We had actually nothing. And we sold everything in Malaysia coming to the US. It is expensive to send all our things and going to school and stuff like that. And then what happened is, in the temple, I earned $3.50 an hour as a pujari. That was 10 years ago. And the apartment we lived in was $350 a month. So I earned $350, I gave it all back. Yeah. And then, but I did like 40, 50 hours of volunteer work at the temple. And then Krishna sent somebody. He sent Ashish Prabhu. He's one of the congregation members. He and his mother took liking to us. And every Saturday for 2 years, he would come and take me food shopping. First time he took me, it was 100 over, because I was doing the DT Boga for the DTs like 4 days a week. So I tell Krishna, I said, Krishna, how am I going to feed you? I don't have much money. Krishna sent Ashish Prabhu every day. And first I didn't want to take. Then Ashish asked Richard that, Prabhuji, I want to take Mataji shopping and I want to pay for it. She's doing all this work for the temple, so I want to pay. He said, okay. He said, what can I do? I can't work because he had the, hip. He had a bad hip. He couldn't work at that time. So it was everything was wrong. But every Saturday, and each time he took until now, and mother will go to Costco and buy tomatoes, potatoes, and half of it she'll send to me. And I still keep in touch with them like my family. And it was such, Krishna sent. And I after that, I learned, then a lot of things happened. It came to my sisters, and now Krishna is giving back because he knows. I understood, this is what I've realized, that when he takes everything away, he understands that if we surrender totally to him and say, what can I do, Krishna? You take care of me. Then slowly I find he gives it back to you. This is what I'm finding.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
Okay, so we have Rashika's question here. So this is a question that was asked to Prabhupada from, I'm not sure who wrote that letter. I guess Tamal Krishna, one of Prabhupada's senior disciples. The question was, what determines whether a devotee goes to a Vaikuntha planet or Goloka Vrindavan? Prabhupada's answer. Those devotees who are following Vidhi-marg, devotional service, under scheduled regulations, are meant for going to Vaikuntha planets, and those who are following Raganuga-marg, the path of devotional service and spontaneous love of God, are meant for going to Krishna Loka. It is generally that the followers of Lord Chaitanya are going to Goloka Vrindavan. There is no difference between the Vaikuntha planets and Krishna Loka. It is a matter of personal taste only. So can I talk about Vidhi-marg and Raganuga-marg? So Vidhi-marg is when we're doing devotional service to Krishna out of duty. Like waking up early in the morning, especially when we lived in the temple. That's how it all started back when I became a devotee. You're either living in a temple or you're out of luck. Waking up early, chanting a regulated amount of rounds every day, giving up certain things like giving up meat, becoming a vegetarian. For some people that was tough. I was already a vegetarian. Giving up illicit sex and intoxication. That was a little tricky for me, but actually was pretty easy. So we're doing our whole day's regulated, doing worshiping the deity. It's got to be on time. You do it at a certain it's very, very regulated how we do all of that. That is basically Vidhi-bhakti. Raganuga-bhakti, you're not operating out of the order of the guru. You're operating really out of love. It's spontaneous. It's out of spontaneity that one is serving. Analogies like Vidhi-bhakti is like rowing a boat. Vidhi-bhakti. Raganuga, still a boat, but you're sailing it. It's sailing on its own. We're not. So a lot of devotional service, that's how we begin. And if we read in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the Nectar Devotion, it talks about these different margs. So which one do we follow? Rasika Pujari, which one do we follow?
We follow Raghunath, the one with the R, in Lord Chaitanya's movement.
Anybody have another opinion?
Vaidhi-bhakti.
Yeah, we're doing Vidhi-bhakti. Unless that's a very advanced stage where it's all out of love. Like chanting our japa, that's the one thing that we're sort of ordered to do, that we take a vow to do, is chanting our rounds. And we do it whether we like it or not. And most people, unless you're really advanced, really, really advanced, it's kind of Krishna's test, is chanting. Even though the goal is to chant, because when we're really chanting from our hearts, you just don't want to stop chanting, because it's Krishna's there in his name, and he's dancing on your tongue, and he's going to your ears, and he's going into your heart, and there's so much nectar in the holy name. But therefore in the Gita, Krishna kind of gears us up for that. Krishna says, "Yatad agre vishamiva," that which in the beginning make service taste like poison, later turns out to be nectar in the end. Yatad agre pariname mritopanam. In the end, amritopanam means it's said to be nectar. So we are, in my opinion, doing a little of both. It's not one or the other. One of the things it talks about in Raganuga Bhakti is you're following someone. It's when you get so elevated, you find someone who has a particular rasa with Krishna, and then you want to serve that person. We're doing that by serving Prabhupada. In my opinion, we're serving him, who is so intimate with Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda and Krishna. So we're serving Prabhupada. That is Raganuga. We're doing that with our hearts. At the same time, it's not exactly one or the other. Because there's a lot that we do it because we're told to do it. I don't want to embarrass you. I guess you don't have to answer this question, but do you really relish chanting your rounds? Do you chant your rounds every day?
Yeah, yes, Gurudev, yes. But it's mechanical. You have to
Right.
train the mind. You have to train the mind. Okay, I have to do this.
You are practicing Vidhi-bhakti.
Mhm.
But you do it.
Yes, of course, Gurudev.
But eventually, you're not going to want to stop doing it.
Mhm.
You don't want to eat. You don't want to sleep. You just want to keep chanting. That will happen. That will happen. We read it. You can read about it in our books. That will happen. So we're kind of, I would say our main focus, where we're really focusing, is Vidhi-bhakti. But there's a component of Raganuga in that we're following Prabhupada. And we're being led, as Prabhupada said in his answer, those followers of Lord Chaitanya will be being led to Krishna Loka. And who could possibly be more dear to Krishna than Prabhupada? Unimaginable. Does that help?
Yes, Gurudev. Thank you.
Okay. And then I think we're back to, we got a little bit of time. We're back to Parampara.
Yes, Gurudev. Let me read the.
So we did the Ekadashi question.
Yes, Gurudev. The other one, I will read the other question now. So, Gurudev, my next question is, what happens to the disciple who leaves the body when not formally initiated, but is taking instruction from the living Guru, or is taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada and his books? Please
Got it.
guide.
Okay. So we have a great example right here of Ganesham, who is chanting 16 rounds, and who is Ganesham, you still there? You look like you're frozen. No. Okay.
Yes, Gurudev.
He can stand still. Okay, good. Okay, so Ganesham will be getting initiated. Actually, by the way, Ganesham, I spoke to Tirtha yesterday, and he's going to check with the people at the St. Anthony Retreat Center to see how we can adjust. So if those dates are available, the 4th of July weekend, if that's possible. So we're still working on that.
Thank you for letting me know, Gurudev.
So Ganesham and Sandhya, they are aspiring disciples, and I have taken them as my Shiksha disciples already, and we're planning to get initiated. So it's basically the connection's already there. The initiation is really more of a formality. It's really more of a formality. In our hearts, the connection's already there. And say in the case of Francia, I've been mentoring Francia now for a couple of.
Mhm.
It's been 2 years.
Mhm.
2 years, yeah. And in my heart, I mean, she said, you know, from where she's at in her stage in her life, she wants to be. It's interesting. She said, you know, I don't want to see you as a guru. I want to see you as a friend, and I'm fine with that. That's fine. It's interesting. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, to Arjuna. He said, Bhakto sime sakacheti rahasya yedid uttamam. He said, Arjuna, because you are my devotee and my friend, I accept you. Bhakto sime sakha. Bhakto means a devotee, and sakha, friend. So I have that relationship with her as a teacher, but a friend, and that's fine. The connection's already there, and if you know, the kid, she already has connection with the guru. Whether no matter how she wants to look at it or see it, I'm giving her everything I've got. It doesn't matter what the label is, but she's sincere. I see her as a friend and as a daughter in that sense, a disciple in that sense. She can see me as friend. I can see her as also as a friend, but also as a duty to Krishna and love of Krishna is to give her everything I can. And she's doing beautifully. I'm so proud of her.
Thank you.
And she chants very faithfully 2 rounds a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm perfectly happy with that. And Krishna sees her as more than a friend. I mean, Krishna sees this relationship. We can shape it. We can put any name on it we want. But I do see her as a friend, and we have a lot of fun together as friends. But at the same time, I see my most important relationship with her is her teacher, which she technically said, I don't want you to be my teacher. I mean, we could go on a cruise together and do fun stuff, but I know that over and above everything, I'm trying to give her as much Krishna as I can, and she's doing beautifully. And it's just we have a really sweet relationship. It's very sweet. Am I right, my dear?
You're right.
We love each
Right.
other.
Right.
Yeah, it's very sweet. It's very sweet. Initiation is a formality. If something happens to the guru, it wouldn't make a difference if you were initiated or not initiated. The connection's already there, and Krishna will connect you to someone else, even though Krishna will connect you to someone else, and then they would initiate you. Remember, it's Guru Tattva. It's like all the sockets in your house are connected to one wire that comes in the house, right? So all the sockets, if God forbid I were to die before I was able to initiate Ghanshyam and Sandhya, then the connection with Krishna is already there through our relationship. And Krishna will arrange to connect them. Find another good socket for him to plug in. It's not that when we're serving, if we're not initiated, it's not already going to Krishna. All the service you've done, it's all gone to Krishna. That bank account, this spiritual bank account is building and building and building, initiated or not initiated. Did I answer your question?
Yes, Gurudev. One follow-up question, Gurudev.
Okay.
So, Gurudev, normally it's said that if a disciple doesn't somehow falls down, then Guru comes to get back the disciple. So, will that be you coming for us?
The devotees asked Prabhupada that question. You want to hear Prabhupada's answer?
Yes, Gurudev.
What, you want to cause some trouble? You want to cause me some trouble? Prabhupada didn't like that question.
Yeah.
What, you?
Yes, Gurudev, that's what I thought.
Prabhupada didn't like the question. Malati, you've heard this, haven't you?
No, Gurudev, I haven't. Yeah.
Yeah. Prabhupada didn't like the question. Behave yourself.
Yeah.
And I think in other places Prabhupada said yes.
Yeah, that's also that's what I was asking.
But there are many stories like that, right, Gurudev, where disciples have fallen off, but when they were they were leaving their bodies, they saw Sri Prabhupada. Prabhupada cared for them, to take them. Yeah. There's so many. Yeah.
And I asked that question just because, Good Day, because we know that Guru is a tattva, but at the same time, it manifests as a person, right?
Correct.
It manifests as a person. So that's why we have person to person connection. Tattva is just like this. Brahma is all Brahma. But again, the Brahma manifests as a form, and that or that is the simultaneous existence of that Brahma form. And that's why we have one-to-one connection. That's why one connection may not, so all may have the same feature, but somehow we're connected to one. So I think that's why it gives the individual taste or personality
Correct. And
as
that's
a
important.
person.
That's it. That is important when people are, especially nowadays, accepting a guru. It's like a marriage. You want to find the guru, like the socket that fits the best.
Mm.
You want to really know your guru and test it out and see how it's working. It's like a marriage. It's like getting married. It's like a marriage. And Prabhupada was one size fits all. He's like Krishna. Everybody's attracted to Prabhupada. But there's some very, very different moods in gurus. I mean, the spectrum is huge spectrum. And we want to see where we fit on the spectrum. Who's a good fit. But ultimately test it. Is it working? Am I getting strength from this person? Am I feeling the potency come in? Am I changing? Where was I before I met this guru? And where am I at now? And we just follow our heart. Our Krishna directs us from within the heart. Yeah, him. Probably like a young girl, or a young woman, and she meets a very, very nice man. Her mother says, "No, marry him. He's a good one." Right. Oh, no, not him. It's like Krishna's like, he's like helping to steer you in the right direction.
True.
We're at the
Thank
end
you,
of our
Gurudev.
time. Well, thank you all. Thank you all for being here today. This is fun.
Yes.
We had
Thank
some
you.
fun, some wonderful discussion. But more important than the discussion, more important than what you may have learned or not learned, is we're just stirring the pot of nectar. And just the sound vibration is purifying, it's washing our hearts. And that's what we've accomplished here today. Just getting good, like you go in a shower, how clean you feel when you get out of a shower. Isn't that a wonderful feeling? Get out and you got the towel and you're drying it. You feel like, wow, I feel like $1 million. This is what we're doing. Now the difference is where that analogy fails is when you walk around, you get dirty again, right? You got to go shower again. So we're basically, we're showering, but we don't really get dirty again unless we really mess up. But we're cleaning our hearts, and there's a lot there to clean. So each time you go in the shower, it's getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner and cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. There was this one spot on my last night when I was cleaning up after I getting ready to go to bed, and I usually straighten up the kitchen, and there was some. Anybody know what Metamucil is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had some Metamucil that I mixed up, for fiber, and if it gets on the counter, it doesn't go in the glass or the cup. It got on the counter, and it was like hard as a rock. I mean, it was like a rock, and I tried to wash it with a sponge. It wouldn't go away, so I flipped the sponge over. And to this scrubby, there's a sponge. It's got like a scrubby thing on one side and a sponge on the other. And I was scrubbing it and scrubbing it and scrubbing it and scrubbing it. And it took like a long time to, finally, several minutes, but I was scrubbing like as hard as I could. And then gradually, clean counter. So it wasn't a one wiper. So our showers are like a one wipe. But we have so much dirt in our heart. It was like that Metamucil. It's orange too. It was orange. You could see it, and I could feel it. It was like a bump on this. It's marble. I have these beautiful marble counters, and I was scrubbing it and scrubbing it. It wouldn't, just I know I was getting more each time, but it just, there's a lot to get off. So anyway, so each time we go in the shower, it's like pushing, getting it more and more. And sooner or later, our hearts will be completely clean. Because the only thing standing between us and Krishna is the false ego. Things that we're washing it. Cheto darpana marginum. It's like cleaning a window. We're just, cleaning and cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. And the more we clean, the more clear the window or the mirror. Same idea. All right, Prabhuji, thank you all very much. And we'll see everybody next time. By the way, we're having class. We have class tomorrow. Anybody who can come back again tomorrow, would love to see you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Hari Bol.
Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Ananta.